Welcome to Invite Sent. We are a live streaming show where we interview people and play video games.
Jason, get it in there.
Let's go. Oh, let's go.
Oh, God.
Got him. Got, son. Still there. Got him.
Excited for that. Ooh, just got in front of you. So I think that.
Got him.
Let's just get that.
He's upset. He's uninstalling the game.
Oh, watch it. Turn.
You should have seen I jumped right into it.
Oh,
good
boy.
Lord. Oh, they're
Okay,
here.
we wanna
They're
go
here.
with that.
Hiya. How do I shoot them? I have a gun, don't I?
No, you don't want to. I would never probably shoot right now in their seat because your job is to heal us.
Okay. I like to jump right into the gameplay and start asking questions because there's plenty of interviews out there that are just two faces side by side talking about something. But let's not do that. Let's ask you hard questions while you're trying to play a video game on live stream.
I don't think I can talk and clean. It's very complicated.
What is your earliest memory of playing video games?
I do remember playing Pong on. It's probably like the Intellivision.
What was your go-to game then, girl?
A lot of people probably don't know what this is, but it's Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
We had our event last year. I don't even think we were really using the term metaverse. We were just saying we're going to be in Decentraland. Or maybe we did use the term metaverse, but like it wasn't popular. Just like blockchain and crypto didn't really become popular, mainstream popular, until NBA Top Shot created those moments. And then NFT became popular.
Man, I'm glad you're asking these questions.
One of my go-to games was probably NBA Street Volume 2.
Oh man, you just got picked like a seedless grape.
We are the best video game players in this video
on stream.
On this specific stream. Let me ask this: Why coach? Why coach esports?
I always was an avid gamer. You know, I fell in love with gaming. Life happened.
Yeah.
Got out of gaming for a while, then went back in because of some of my students. You know, I just saw all the career and college pathways, man. And I was like, I don't think nobody else is looking at it the way I'm looking at this thing.
Helps us quite a bit.
I fell off. I fell.
Abreast.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
that's dumb.
Okay.
That's first of
That
all,
happens.
that's dumb that they have a place to. My kill cam is me. Dadgummit. Yeah, that happens in pro Overwatch. Your kill cam is yourself. Oh, I fell off the freaking thing again.
Here we go.
Oh, I don't even know how to do that. I don't know. Okay. Oh no, did you die? Oh my god. Oh gosh.
Get your school into the high school esports league community. It's complete.
I think those conversations are important to normalize that it's not okay, because as long as you keep saying like this is not okay, then tell me what is okay. And then having those strong females within the gaming space is also definitely a move in the right direction.
I feel like my games were a little easier earlier when I had my lobbies. Pretty sure.
Well, those were bot lobbies. So.
Those were bot lobbies.
They didn't think they could be here. They thought it was just a boys' game, or they weren't comfortable. They didn't want to compete. That really highlighted the fact that we've got to make it more inclusive for girls. We have to make welcoming, open environments. We have to give them champions and examples of mentors that they can see and that they can be. And despite whatever culture or society says, they absolutely are a part of this world, and they can absolutely make a difference in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, art.
So this was a Kickstarter project, correct?
Yeah, so I scraped money together on my own when we went up to Kickstarter.
At what point would we say they move from club to designated under the school's banner?
Obviously, it's going to come from support staff. Having a director of a program and then having per game coaches, I think, is a great way to help with that.
The parent interaction is a big part of it, especially for somebody who's in this industry and, fought to try and be here. What I see is, what I strive for is to show parents that gaming is a legitimate way to create a career for yourself, right? And these tournaments do that.
Is when it comes to character creators, the disabled community is not really represented in the game itself. That was something that we wanted to attack on our way in. So one of the first things we ever built was this character creator. We call them enhancements. So the wheelchairs, you've got different prosthetic,
different eye colors as well.
Heterochromia, different color eyes is heterochromia, which is like super common.
Oh, on this one, you shoot his legs out and then he like falls over and okay, he disappeared for some reason. Okay.
It's one of my favorite things about Apex is I can do absolutely nothing in this period right here.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, look at this, I'm flying. This reminds me of Kingdom Hearts, which have you ever played Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah. My 9-year-old big fan.
So I won victory. Dad dab. Yes. I'm over here hitting R like I'm reloading my gun accidentally for some reason. I have no idea. Or C to crouch and...
I said, so, hey, have you heard about esports and how it's benefiting schools and how it's doing all this for students? And they said, I've heard some of it. Well, did you know that it's happening right now and it's something that you guys can jump on board with?
So I was a sergeant. I was an E5. Seeing the work that we were doing with the kids and seeing like, hey, this is something that we can really build and make a positive influence on the kids that we're working with.
Particularly, Bubba, here's my big thing, particularly people who look like me.
Yeah.
In the educational technology space and in the esports space, because I said that it's being underserved. I need for directors, I need for teachers, I need for students, I need for anybody to, when I'm talking to them, they say, oh, whoa. And they may not say it, but I know sometimes they're thinking it, well, there's this African American, there's this black man in this space talking esports, talking educational technology. We may or not seen that before, and that's important.
Like as you said earlier, you mentioned like a parent asking about esports challenges for their kid. I think that's like wonderful. Like how many parents back in the day actually had interest in gaming when it's not like, you know, academically viable.
And so I reached out to Mike and Kristy. Their contact information was on there. I found them through High School Esports League, which was our league coincidentally. Kristy answered my email and she was like, you know, you've got some technical questions. I'm gonna loop Mike in on this.
Of course.
It was just the best meeting I've ever had.
Hey, I know you're already going to be here for the tennis tournament. You got to come by, dude. Take 15 minutes out of the tennis tournament, come inside, you know, get a breath of the air-conditioned air, and just come see what my kids are doing. And that's all it took. They just had to see it with their own eyes. Oh, these are the kids that are playing in esports. It was the kids who ate lunch by themselves, the kids with no friends, the kids, we were worried about them dropping out of school, but hey, you know what? They came to school on Friday because they wanted to play Super Smash Brothers in the library.
My name's Kyle Mullins. I'm the youth pastor and work with 6th through 12th graders. It's probably where we started spending the most time together is when we went to China and put on a soccer camp. Oh, and then got into streaming a couple months ago between my fumbling through the world and gaming all of my life, but now fumbling into streaming and stuff.
One thing that's really important to me is the kids learn to be positive influence, to not be toxic. I've seen kids get really mean and be bullies.
If the industry truly wants to actually serve these communities, and it's going to come from the publisher down, we're going to have to provide support behind titles that can be played on the platform that these communities can actually have access to. It comes from the publisher down, it's just the empathy comes from the businesses and the consumers down.
You know what? Let me in front of you. Let me be your shield, and that way you don't die as quick.
In addition, I think one of the more exciting things I got to do is I got to be one of the official co-streamers for the Overwatch League opening day this past season.
Well, my background's actually in acting. I went to school for musical theater back in the day. I don't think I can talk and clean. It's very complicated.
All good things sometimes must come to an end. I'm actually leaving the world of education.
What?
Yep, big reveal. 6 days. I'm actually in conversations right now about my next steps.
This was announced officially here in the public on the show. Were you a CIA agent? I just have to ask you.
I was not. I did work in the Bureau of Intelligence and Research.
Yeah. Oh crap! Oh crap!
Oh no! Well, it looks like.
I should have stayed so close to the edge.
ESA is the voice and advocate for the video game industry in the United States.
And we're really lucky in that we get to stay really mission driven and stay focused on the impact that this is having on students and schools. We don't really need to get into the nitty gritty of the numbers, which is, I think the thing is like an educator you probably fear when you're leaving the classroom.
If you'd like to be on invite sent to be interviewed and play video games, please go to bubbagetter.com and request to be on the show. And I'll let you know if the invite is sent.
Oh my god.
Trade.
Yeah. Come on in, big guy. Come on. You won't.
How do you heal and how do you live? What?
He threw a black hole at us like Thanos. You can't. That's not a button. I don't have that button.
I don't have that button either. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Invite Sent. Welcome to Invite Sent. Thank you so much for being here. We are on season 2, episode 19. We have some amazing, the most amazing guests today to play some video games with me and get interviewed, because that's what Invite Sent. Invite Sent is a live interview show where we interview people live on multiple platforms: Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you're there, hello, Nick, everybody in the chat. Thanks for being here. And we play video games with them as we interview them. And we are having so much fun. We've got some amazing guests also coming up. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek at who we're going to be playing with over the next few months. Well, actually, on Friday, we're going to be with Donna Walters from Cal State Gaming Collective. I think that's the wrong terminology, but we're going to play some Overwatch 2. I know my guests today would have probably loved to play Overwatch 2 with us, but we're playing something different. Donna is going to play some Overwatch 2. We've got MZ all the way from Northern Ireland. We're going to play some Valorant. She is a football player, e-football player. That's in the States, we call that soccer. Wallace Santos with Main Gear will be here next Wednesday. We will be playing some CSGO that I never played in my life. Dr. Sarah Hayes with all sorts of orgs. Gosh, she's with 3 different orgs. Please go look up her information on LinkedIn and Twitter. She's amazing. Kevin, how are you on Facebook? Thanks for being here. We're going to play some Fortnite. Zach Whitley, going to play some League of Legends. Christina Warburn, she is from Riot Games. She is actually an amazing leader in Riot Games and in the LinkedIn space. We're going to have some fun playing some League of Legends because she probably helps operate that of some sort at Riot. And she is Boogie. She won the gaming coach of the year from Gamehers, and we're going to play some Apex. We also got Chosen One, Sebastian Burton, play some Multiverses. Excited about this as well. Amon Green, we're going to play some Halo Infinite because he's pretty good at it. He'll carry me. Josh Otero, we're going to play some Double Dragon. Yeah, like today we have a fun game that's not normal in esports, but we're going to play Double Dragon. Then Karen Keona Smith, we're going to play some Smash Brothers. We got Rick Suarez from Stay Plugged In, we're going to play some Fall Guys. Miles Harvey, we're going to play some Rocket League because he's amazing at that and good at teaching that. And then we have Aaron Ashley Simon will be on the show. We haven't decided what game yet, but here in late March. Also, William Walker playing some Minecraft, and Matt King from NJCAAE playing some Fortnite. So that's the lineup we got. We got a few more spots left, but there might be spring break in there. We might take a break. But today's show is going to be exciting because these are some of the most amazing people that I've ever known, that are mentors of mine, that teach me lots of things about education as a educator in the past 9 years in the collegiate space, in sports. I have just not had any direction until both of these guests have helped me be better at being an educator and a leader. And so I really appreciate what they do. And I'm going to bring those guests in right now. We have on the show Dr. Kristy Custer and Dr. Michael Russell. Hello, how are you guys?
Hello.
Hello.
We are doing well. Thanks,
that was exciting. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
You didn't know you are live? Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome.
This is as live as it gets right here, Bubba. Sorry.
Hello, welcome. Well, I'm excited that you guys are here. We're going to play a game that I haven't played on the show before. I'm going to start it up, and we're going to start asking questions. And it's already starting. Are you guys in the game?
Yeah, I'm
ready.
Here.
So we're playing on. They're playing on their phones. I'm playing on my computer, so you guys can see it. But we are playing Uno. Did you guys play Uno ever growing up? You ever play Uno with your kids?
One of my favorite games.
Played tons of Uno.
Yeah.
Ooh. We actually used to play it at school quite a bit. I mean, when we would have days where we did that. It was really fun. The kids really like it.
So my kids have the version called Duo, and they have a version called Uno Flip or something, where on one side of the card it's not a back side of the card, it's actually another set of colors. But when you're playing, you can see the back of those cards, so you kind of know if you switch the sides of the. This is a lot confusing here. Oh, I'm sorry. Who is this?
Very rude and skipped me.
That's I just gave Kristy two. I gave her two cards.
That's good.
There you go.
That's exactly.
You're welcome.
Okay, it skipped me. Okay, got it.
Okay, my turn. Back to you. I won't use that. My next Don't you guys be screen watching either, starting to see if what cards I have.
I am
Screen,
watching the
screen
stream.
sniping. You're stream sniping?
the Uno.
How to get stream sniped in Uno?
I'm not.
Oh, reverse. That's rough. Mike, you've been on the show before, and you've talked about. Hey guys, am I gonna get to play?
Oh, sorry. Are you supposed to play, Bubba? Sorry.
You've been on the show before, and you've talked about one of your favorite games growing up was Romance of the Three Stone Kingdoms. What is it?
Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Romance of the Three
Boom.
Kingdoms.
I appreciate that. That was one of your early games growing up. But I'd love to see if there was a video game that Dr. Kristy Custer remembers playing as a young child.
My game, Bubba, is Pac-Man.
Pac-Man.
Like, I love that game. But you've heard me, you guys, before. I'm trying to decide what Mike has here because he's got Uno. And so
Oh, is it going to be good? Does he have to draw? You got a yellow or one? Nope.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
but
Rude.
I'm
rude.
stuck too. Hey, some really good people. Some people in the chat. Favorite people in EDU esports in one place. Dr. Kristy and Dr. Mike are fantastic. Really pushing the layout of what standardized esport curriculum should be in K-12. Thank you for that in
Who
the
said
chat.
that?
I don't
Who
know.
said
It's not telling me who it is. I got to go look on LinkedIn.
Oh man, they're amazing.
That's really nice.
Yeah, very nice.
So, Edie, you've heard me before kind of tease about that. I like to start a lot of my presentations with I don't like video games, but what people are finding out is I am not completely honest about that.
Jeff.
And my brothers, I have 3 brothers, and especially my younger brother, he's 4 years younger than me. I was a beast at Super Mario.
Oh, a beast. I don't think I've heard you refer to yourself as a beast before.
I am.
That's pretty dope.
And the reason this got brought up is because my mom and dad still have a Nintendo, the old Nintendo. And I played it, and my kids were like, especially my 9-year-old, he was like, holy crap, mom's a Super Mario beast. Like, I am good at that game. And I forgot. And so then it started making me think Duck Hunt. What was the race car game? Spy Hunter.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
I know. So
Uno.
I have a little bit of background.
Oh, I hit Uno before he hit it. Sorry. I'm learning this game. That was Jeff Palumbo from Lenovo talking about how amazing you guys are. Isn't he amazing?
It's been a while since we talked to Jeff. Thanks, Jeff.
Yes.
Love him too. He's doing great things over there.
Guys. Guys.
Are you gonna win? You're such a cheater.
Yeet.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Nobody will be on your show again if you keep beating them at the game. I'm telling you.
When we play Overwatch, you'll definitely destroy me.
Oh, there we go. 1v1 me, bro.
So before we jump into another game, let's keep chatting here. And thanks, Jeff. Yes, Jeff. We 1000% agree. That's why we love working with you, man. Okay, you had the. Did you have the Duck Hunt gun?
Totally.
Kristy, did you have the track and field pad? Either one of you guys?
No.
No, I didn't.
Oh, I saw somebody playing with the track and field pad playing Elder Ring the other day.
Yes.
And I've seen somebody use the Dance Dance Revolution pad, and I've seen somebody use a GameCube controller to play. I don't know if you know what Elden Ring is, Kristy. It's like a new hot game this year where it's kind of big and long and scary. But yeah.
Right.
Okay. Now, if that's what you guys enjoyed your first, besides Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Mike, did I say it right?
Yeah.
What was another go-to game for you growing up?
Yeah, I mean, like on Nintendo, I had a lot of the Nintendo stuff, but I mean, obviously Super Mario was a big one for me. But I remember playing Contra, which was awful, very hard. Getting through that, but then I also really liked Metroid, and I loved the ending of Metroid because everybody was like surprised because Metroid was a girl, right? I mean, nobody knew that, and it was probably like the first main character of a story that was a female, you know, and you didn't know that till you got to the end and takes her helmet off, and you're like, oh, cool. So
that feels like a scene from Ready Player 2 when they had to go through and figure out all these elements of history of games, and there was actually a one of the clues to get to the Easter eggs in that book was to find one of these games that had a female character, but it was originally in Japan. It was called Ninja something. I can't remember. But yeah, it's a very, very good story. I love the that early on stuff that people don't know about, and they need to learn about it.
I love to go to the arcade and do the Star Wars trench run. That was really one of my favorites. Like,
yeah,
but they never could I mean, there's not been a lot of great Star Wars games, unfortunately. Like, in my opinion, a lot of great Star Wars games that have been playable, other than Lego Star Wars, which I'm a huge fan of.
I like the Lego Star Wars. Yes, my kids love it too.
But I really wish they would do like a great Star Wars game. And I mean, I know there's been some that have been well played, but it doesn't seem like they. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I think one of the reasons for that though is they don't focus on one character. Because once again, I don't play the video games, but I love people who love video games. And whenever I watch the Star Wars games, because we're huge Star Wars fans in our house, and I watch them, it's because it's too complex. Star Wars is way too complex. And so they need to focus on Chewie, or they need to focus on, so you're welcome for whoever's going to take that and run, because that's the problem.
Can you play Chewie? Can you play Chewie on the Lego Star Wars? Mike?
Yeah, you can.
No way. Yeah. Oh, well, I didn't know that. I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah, you can play. Well, eventually you can play all the characters.
I played Jar Jar Binks, and obviously that's a rough experience for everybody. Hey, Julie Mavro George says, "Hi, friends."
Hello, Julie.
And Kevin Courtney, a friend of mine who used to work at the Y with me and years ago, he said, "Hello, Kristy from Kansas National Guard Child and Youth Programs." I don't know if you know anybody over there, but that's
I love that.
Yeah, Kevin is an amazing leader in the youth space. We've known each other for quite some time, and he's definitely got a passion for youth.
Well,
hello, Julie.
People that I love are in the Kansas Army National Guard, and then my daughter is on the Army National Guard Executive Board.
What?
I know. So shout out to the Kansas Army National Guard and all the people who I care about there.
I had a great time interviewing your husband and just learning about him and everything, and just resiliency and all the stuff he does. It just was. I literally, the first thing I said to him on the show was, "I think I've met you once in the car on that road on the way out from Mays Complete from the high school. On the road, we saw you guys. I was with my family or something, and you guys were in the car right next to us." And I said hello, and that was the only time I've seen your husband until that show, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Stands beside me, stands behind me, and is always there. Appreciate him.
Andrew Lombardo on LinkedIn says, "Great seeing you all. FETC recovery week here." How was FETC? Tell me a little about that as we jump into the next game.
It was amazing. Like, it really was. I mean, Kristy and I have done that. This is our third time going, but I think the first time we went was in 2018, maybe 2019.
Wow.
I always get that mixed up, but I mean, there was like 2 esports sessions there when we went the first time. And now we went there and there was like 52
wow
sessions. And
it seemed like a lot.
All kinds of vendors. I mean, we were really busy. Like, we had a booth, and we had a lot of folks coming in very interested in it. And so it's been cool to kind of watch that growth over the last few years. So.
What was there another industry? Kristy, you're up there. Sorry.
There we go. No, I had to read the instructions there for a minute.
What do I need to do? Red? I need to draw. I saw a ton of links and list of esport heavy sessions. Was there another industry there that had 50 some odd sessions about something in education? Was there like how to deal with bullying? Was there any of that? Was there another session smorgasbord, if you would say, of any other industry?
I think teacher retention and burnout was a big topic, like trying to retain staff. And Dr. Jensen, our other co-author, gave a great session on that. And Kristy actually attended, so I don't know why I'm talking about it, but she was there. I didn't have a chance to go to that session, but I heard it was fantastic. So
it was. Cybersecurity, I think, is another hot topic that's coming down the pike, and especially in the scholastic space. And so that's pretty exciting also. And so I attended several sessions on that, and very interested in reading about that.
Dang it. I think that a few weeks ago I had Mitchell and Alex, cybersecurity. We talked a lot about that. I definitely agree. That is a big request from a lot of people, and it made me want to delete my TikTok account after hearing what all he said, although I haven't done it yet because I spend way too much time on it.
Right. Right.
What is there? There's another event which I think I've some people are referred to it as TICA, but it's TCEA, right?
Right.
That's going on right now in San Antonio, Austin, Dallas, somewhere.
I think San Antonio.
San
And
Antonio?
Julie's
San
actually
Antonio?
there.
Julie's there, yeah.
And we have Kristen and Dan from our team are also down there.
Dr. Kristen Kraft.
Correct.
And Dan. I don't know if I know Dan.
Dan's is our newest representative. So
Awesome.
he went down there, and he's kind of in the upper Midwest.
Mm-hmm. So since we're on the topic of education and conferences, oh my gosh, you just win!
I won! Woo!
Oh, Mike won. Nice work.
Mike.
Nice work, my friend. Okay, it's 1-0, Kristy.
Dang it.
We got like 8 games left. Let's see who comes out on top. This is this is esports, y'all. I'm pretty sure it's competitive gaming. It's video games with competition. Am I right? I don't know.
We talk about this a lot with schools that, what's the point of having video games in schools, and there's some technology. Some schools don't have all the technology that they need, but most students have access to either an iPad or a Chromebook or a phone. And we say all the time, esports can be played in all kinds of venues. So this would definitely count as one, because you're learning that communication piece and the strategy piece and the technology piece, all of that.
Well, there are definitely some uber nerds out there who would not call this an esport, but I think you're exactly right when it comes to education, and that's why we're in this space. And it looks like Julie is also in San Antonio as well at TCEA, repping Jenny and esports. Thank you, Julie. Okay.
They have a session tomorrow. Check it out. They have a session.
Dope.
Doing a session tomorrow. So.
Okay, what's that one over? Esports?
I would guess esports. I'm not exactly sure of the title, but I'm going to say it's going to be on esports.
Yeah. The Brian Kelly, Julie is everywhere. I'm convinced she is a twin or 3. Yes, Julie is everywhere. That's right. Now, I'd love to hear about your accomplishments from Gaming Concepts 1.0 when it was introduced into the world and STEM accredited and put on Microsoft Education's platform and downloaded over 400,000 times in 40 countries, and how that accomplishment from 2 amazing people in Kansas, the Wichita area, Mays, how that accomplishment went from, national award-winning curriculum writer, Dr. Kristy Custer, writing some amazing dissertations, Dr. Michael Russell, to what you guys are doing now through Generation Esports and curriculum. What was the path, and what did it look like to go from being a principal and an educator and a teacher and a coach to running education for the largest and longest running gaming and esports league in the world?
Where do you even start with that, right? Being out at the conference last week, educators asked me this a lot. Like, it almost made me feel bad for a while, because this will be my second year. I've been not out of education, but out of the classroom, out of the school for 1.5 years now. And shortly after I made the leap, I have a lot of educators that will call me and they'll say, I'm thinking about leaving, the building or leaving the classroom. And, what do you think? And I used to feel bad about that, because, I would say, you got to do it. You got to try. And my husband and I were talking about it, and he was like, Kristy, if they're calling you, they've already made up their mind. They just need some reassurance that they're going to be okay and that it's going to be okay. And so it's been an incredible ride. And people ask me all the time, do you miss the classroom? Do you miss the building? And I always say there's something inside of me that I'm going to go back someday, but I love what I'm doing right now. And Dr. Kraft says it all the time. I'm still in education. I'm just not in the building. I'm not in the classroom every day, but I have a lot bigger reach than I did. And so where I was, in Mays, at Complete High School Mays in particular, now our reach is a lot bigger. And I think especially someone from the alternative school world, our voice isn't always, I have a lot of alternative school people that reach out and just say, I'm so glad it was you, because you have a different perspective of what school should look like. And it's because I was in the alternative school world for 20 years. And so someone said, you're so far out of the box that you don't even realize there's a box. And so I take that as a huge compliment, and I'm just grateful to have had the opportunity to have had Generation Esports. We have a lot of teachers that guide us. We get to listen to a lot of students. Daily, we check feedback on our game plan website. We have over 2,600 responses.
Wow.
And we're getting a 92% positive feedback, but we really focus on that 8% that's not positive. And this is kids, they're kids and their teachers that are giving us feedback on what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. And I love that we can help guide esports into schools.
That is amazing.
I was like, what happened?
I want to go through your website here in a minute, but Mike, what was your journey like as well, or how do you feel in summary to go alongside what Kristy has said?
I always say I'm here because Kristy made me do it. She wouldn't let it go. She's just like, we have to do this thing, and I was like, okay, we're going along for the ride. No, complete opposite. I'm just teasing her. She knows that. So
yep.
This is it's pretty surreal. I mean, I was just thought video games were cool, and I thought it'd be great for kids and for me, honestly, to have it in school and just to be a part of this journey, and just so fortunate to have Kristy be supportive of it from the beginning. I mean, had I went to 99.999 to the 9,000th, I mean, any other school would have been like, no, we're not doing that. So just a lot of things lined up, and Kristy just again is so supportive, but just kind of like Brian is to her, in her personal life, like she is to me in our professional life. Like I have confidence that we can take leaps to do things, because I know she's going to be there if for whatever reason it doesn't work out. It's always seemed to work out so far, so I think things we've always been fortunate that we haven't had to do a lot of crazy things other than the crazy thing we're doing. So I mean, we haven't had to really go. We've been able to kind of create our own path, so I think it's worked out nicely. But yeah, it's kind of weird for me. I mean, you know a lot about my journey, my personal life, and how gaming has affected me, and it's amazing to have a platform where we can bring this to literally potentially millions of kids and thousands of teachers and schools, and it's so cool to be a part of that. So I mean, the journey is great. I mean, we're now in 38 states and 4 countries, and
wow.
it's just wild to watch how the whole thing just and now we have ways to track it. When we did the first one, it was we knew the raw numbers. We didn't really know where we were kind of having a lot of success or anything. But that wasn't our intention. We released that just because we were nice educators, and we wanted to be we wanted everybody to have access to it. So but
are
cool.
Nice educators.
Yeah, we are. You're right. We are still nice. We are still nice. Thank you for the correction. But yeah, it's amazing. And I think the industry itself is really, I think, latching on to what we're doing and seeing that this can be effective and does reach kids. So yeah, I mean, I kind of pinch myself every day. When we're at conferences and people are like, oh my gosh, it's you, and I'm like, yeah, it is. Here I am,
the most famous people in esports education.
Here I am.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it's and when we're together, they're like, oh, you're both here, so it's we kind of have a funny joke now that we can't ride in the same car. So we can't risk one of us getting damaged and the other one not being.
It's like the president and the vice president have to be separated.
We have to separate now because we can't risk it. There's all the knowledge that we don't.
Wow. Thank you guys. Well, I have plenty of really great things to say about you guys, but I'm going to hold it and talk about the end. But I'm going to pull up your Gaming Concepts website. That's gamingconcepts.gg. When I see this page, I want to teach. I want to learn. And walk me through a little bit. If you're, let's say you're talking to a teacher, and you are walking them through this website about this is their first experience. So you haven't really talked about anything. This is probably in the process you do, but let's just say for this purpose, I'm an educator. I don't know anything about computers really, but I know my kids want to learn about computers and gaming and careers and opportunities. And I'm on this site, and you're saying, "Hey, let's go to this site, and I'll walk you through it." Can you guys do that for me and the audience today?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I'm ready.
So the first piece, because Bubba, you guys both know, I always go from the Kristy Custers of the world, where I love kids, and I'm always looking for a program or something that's going to engage kids. And so this is the non-gamer, because I think everybody knows the competitive piece, or a lot of people know the competitive piece. And when they think of esports, they're thinking of the competitive piece. But there really is, there's a scholastic piece. And when teachers ask me, what do you mean by the scholastic piece? And that's where you use esports as the hook to get kids involved. And where that really evolved from was 20 years ago, or 22 years ago now, when I walked into Complete High School Maze, the alternative school. I was the English teacher, and kids would walk into my class and they would say, "I hate school, I hate English, and I'm probably going to hate you." And I'd be like, "Okay, so let's start with, what do you like?" And they would say, "I like auto mechanics, and I like welding, and I like fishing." And I'd say, "But I hate writing the 5-paragraph essay." And so I'd say, "Well, I see you like auto mechanics. Could you write me a work order that tells me, why are you going to change the transmission in my car? Or why does my car need the transmission changed?" And all of a sudden, it's like their whole world changed.
Yeah.
And so they would go off, and 2 hours later or 2 days later, they'd bring me back always more than I expected. And it gave me a jumping off point with that kid, but it also, where I could help them with their writing, but then it also gave me a connection with that kid where I took an interest in them. And then over the years, that was very labor intensive, and we were a very small school. And so we were able to individualize for kids. And then over the last, 5 to 10 years, it was, "I hate school. What do you like?" "I like esports." And so that became the hook. And then, of course, as the story goes, when Mike joined us, he could provide that in-depth. He could make those connections that I didn't know because I wasn't familiar enough with esports, but he could make those business connections, especially even the history connections, because those are his two specialties, are business and history. And so he would start, connecting the standards of business. Business is really where we started. He'd connect the business standards with esports, and kids, attendance went up and engagement went up, and you were no longer fighting with those kids in class. So that's the direction I like to guide educators. And so I like to start with that courses button, so teachers can see, okay, so this is actually a course. And really, it doesn't even, sometimes course is misleading. And what we're finding, teachers are so brilliant that this can just be a resource for your classroom. It doesn't have to be, this doesn't have to specifically be an interactive media course. This could be any course, and you just use it as a resource. And especially with our game plan partners, teachers can create their own lessons. They can use our lessons. I mean, it's just opening up. And the more that we get this into the classroom, and the more we get this into the hands of capable, brilliant teachers, the more that esports is becoming more and more scholastic.
Wow.
So
thank you for all that.
That's where I started. Sorry.
No, we know your heart. We know what you need. You know what you want to talk about. now that you've talked to Kristy Custer of the world, Kristy or Mike, what do I need to do when I get to this website?
Go to courses, Bubba.
Go to courses. Or I
Yeah.
go here or here. I like
Yep.
that I can go have 2 options. Okay, I'm in courses, Dr. Custer.
Yes.
And what am I looking for?
So these are the courses that teachers can just implement right now. There are those 3 that are up, and the fundamentals course, that one, I think if you click on there, you'll get a sample of what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And those courses, is it on there?
It should be. Let's
Okay.
reload. There we go.
So the fundamentals
It's
course, there we go.
my browser.
Okay. So the fundamentals course that's where everybody can just get started.
Yeah.
We have people, and Mike helped me out here. They have this in health class. They have this in business class. They have this in IT classes.
Yeah, IT. We've had it in ethics. Ethics class is another kind of interesting one where they've done it. So, yep.
There we go.
You said PE, right? And PE is another one we've seen it. Yeah.
Okay.
And so, like I said, they can either use it as a resource, or it was written for the Kristy Custers of the world, where they could just open it up, and there's even italics, so that if you don't know anything about esports, that you can just read these off of the page.
Okay.
And so we try to make it really engaging for the teacher and engaging for the student, or actually vice versa, engaging for the student, but really engaging for the teacher also. So it's really a built-in professional development as it's as you're teaching also.
So this is a Unit 1, Lesson 5. So this is a sample of Lesson 5 and the second or third week into the class, I'm guessing. Or second week, maybe. Goal setting, decision making skills. And you address standards. These standards are a pretty big deal for educators, is that right? And districts.
Everything has to be linked to something in education.
Yeah.
And so this fundamentals course, like I said, it can be wherever teachers decide to put the fundamentals one. If you'll go back to the interactive media course, those are actually the interactive media standards. And the United States, it's tricky because state by state is so varied. It's all local controlled, and so state by state, district by district. And we do have California A through G approval. We're working in Texas to get the
big deal.
Tex TE. It's a big deal. And so, that's where teachers have to really take this on. We can provide the resources, but teachers really make the magic, because they decide where does this best fit. Their districts decide where does this best fit. And that's what I like about esports. And one of the things that we're really working on is, I think right now, because esports is so competitive, but the scholastic piece of esports does not need to be so competitive within the companies. And so I try to tell people, there's another company called Play Versus, and there are good things about Play Versus. There are good things about NASIP. There are good things about Vanta. There are good things about lots of companies. Find the esports company that is going to work for your school, so that we can get this off the ground. Because I feel like sometimes we're butting heads so much right now that we really need, and Mike and I, we want to be at the forefront of this. We need to start bringing our companies together to start supporting schools instead of trying to, to get schools, because what we're finding is it's not in enough schools even yet. It's hard enough to get it implemented without trying to decide who should I choose. It doesn't have to be a who do I choose. It's an thing. And so we want to really work hard to work together and try to find the best parts of every company that will fit your school district. Just like no school, schools don't all use the same basketballs. Schools don't all use the same computers. Schools don't all use the same programs. They have to fit their budgets. They have to fit their programs. They have to fit their teachers. They have to fit their students. And so that's what we're trying to do.
That's a very stellar point and very beyond the years of right now outlook and perspective. So thank you. That Julie in the chat as our CTE nerd here says A through G is a must in California, and we use gaming concepts for coaches of our league and growing it into CTE esport pathways in high schools and middle schools. And yeah, I mean, you get approval from somebody like Julie. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I love, so these pathways, I know when we talk about these standards address, these castle standards, and I don't know what cluster is this interactive media under. See how I know all these terms now? Who taught me all these terms? This lady right here. This lady right here. Mike said some stuff too, but this lady taught me all these nerdy words.
Mike makes it fun.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here if Mike didn't make it fun, because I'm a boring English teacher.
Yeah. We won't argue. So the idea, what is the interactive media? What is that cluster? How does that fit into other into schoolwork or specific areas of education? I understand the shoutcasting and streaming. The shoutcasting one is in the journalism cluster, and where would this interactive media cluster be, or what cluster would it be in?
Mike hit it. I don't, unless you want me to, because know I can talk all day.
No, you're fine. I mean, this is good. You're fine. Go ahead.
So this will fit under your IT pathway, like your IT cluster, and then down the pathways. This particular class, this is a course in most schools. Interactive media, it might be called digital media.
Right.
Depending, like this is actually, so you would probably adopt this as a text for a course that's already existing. And the reason that this is important is because you don't have to go through a huge approval process, because it's just adopted as a text. But what this does to a lot of interactive media courses is, when kids are thinking, you get a different type of kid who, like, let's take girls, for example, because I'm going to speak from experience here. When I think of esports, I think of either playing video games, or I think of coding video games, or I think of fixing computers. Did you see how I had different hand signals for all of that? I'm playing, I'm coding, and I'm fixing. Thank you. It's just, in esports, it's just not true. So a lot of times that excludes a lot of girls. But when you start thinking of an interactive media, there's a lot of social media that's involved in interactive media. There's design that's involved in those interactive media classes. And so it gets a whole different demographic of people. Plus, you're going to get those esports people that never thought that this is something that I could do. Or take that journalism class, which is a shoutcasting class, for example. You've got a lot of esports kids that never dreamed that they were journalists, but really that's what they are. Yeah. And we've got a kid in Mays, Lakin Zamorano. He is the editor of One Mays Media, and he signed with Oklahoma University. And he's just he was a Call of Duty player, but he was a cross country runner who got injured and joined his esports team his junior year, and is now headed to Oklahoma University as a nationally ranked Call of Duty player.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So you really bring a lot of kids.
Lucky Moog, huh? Moog Diesel.
Lucky injury. So you're really getting a lot more kids. You're expanding. Esports is so broad that you're expanding all of these kids, their idea of what these career fields are, because you're attaching it to esports, or vice versa. You're attaching esports to these career fields.
Yeah. Mike, what's beneficial about these journal prompts and mental health moments? And then we're going to go back to playing a game. What's beneficial?
The journal prompt was probably one of my favorite things we ever put into the books. I mean, you get kids who will write things that would never write anything before. You're asking for 3 or 4 sentences to start, and then later on you're getting pages of material. So I think it's very very good for the kids to have that chance to reflect. And originally, and now we've kind of focused the journal prompts a little more onto specific things, but in the original book, I liked the fact that the kids I would allow them to talk about anything. So whatever was on their mind. So, I mean, I have countless examples, but one time a student wrote about how, they were having some struggles at home and they didn't have enough food for the weekend. And, had I not taken the time to read that when he sent that in, we were actually able to get him food and help them along and provide those resources for them. But I mean, at the beginning of that class, that kid wouldn't have told anybody anything about that. I mean, he was, but him and I built a rapport, and I think just through the reflections and my responses to the reflections and just being in the class, he now felt comfortable, and he was now part of the school that cared about him. So, I mean, I think just having that is so important. The mental health moments are a whole nother level. We could do a whole show on that.
Sure.
I mean, it's just a whole nother level of cool, but
yeah.
Just building those into lessons where the kids don't know, traditional SEL is, let's all go to the gym and we'll talk about bullying. And the kids are like, the teacher's like, hey, raise your hand. You've been bullied. Well, nobody's going to raise their hand because the bully's probably in the room. So,
didn't think about that.
And you think about, but then you transition that into where it's in a normal topic and you're like, oh, we're going to talk about toxicity today. Well, every kid talks about, they know what toxicity is if they're a gamer because it happens every day. And it's real easy to ingrain it into the lesson where the kids don't even know they're talking about a mental health moment, and the teacher has an indication they're teaching it, but it just goes into the lesson seamlessly. So it's just a more authentic approach to preventative mental health and embedding that into our curriculum that is really very unique. I mean, I don't think that's something that's really been done. And the reason that it's great to try it in esports is because nobody knows what esports and gaming curriculum looks like. So it's the perfect place to start something new because this is just what it is, right?
Well, they do know what it looks like. You guys are the leader in it. Yeah. So,
well, but I mean, up until we were in it, nobody's ever put that in like a social studies book or a math book or an English book. I mean, this is all just, so it's a great way for us to start something like this because it's a new topic. And so that's just what it always probably will look like, even if it's not Kristy and I and other folks, or it evolves, it's still gonna, and Chris, sorry, I don't want to leave Chris out, but it's always going to be there. And I think that's a good model to implement, preventive mental health and embedded mental health like that. So.
Wow. Love it, guys. Let's start another game. If you want to pull your phones back up, and I'll start the new game. And also on LinkedIn, Andrew Lombardo, one of the amazing Gen E seller specialist. What is the role Andrew Lombardo holds?
Education representative.
Education representative. He says mental health lessons SEL are the number one topic potential school staff ask me about when sharing about the course. Yes, I definitely agree, because those are the sexy words and terms that people are. They were sexy at the beginning. Now they are like, oh my gosh, why aren't we doing this? Crazy. Okay, let's jump into a game. Finish here in this last game or so, and while we're doing that, tell me where is Gaming Concepts and Dr. Mike Russell and Dr. Kristy Custer? Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing in the next 5 years? What is the world going to be like for you? Mike, you go first. What's the world going to be like for you in the next 5 years? Your world. Sorry, I shouldn't say the world.
My world? Oh man, I would say, hopefully, we've got this into, as many schools as possible, as many kids are being able to take advantage of this as possible. I hope, my goal is just to kind of support all the teachers and the students who want to get involved in this and use gaming for education purposes. And in 5 years, gosh, I don't know. I think it's just going to continue to grow just by looking over the last 5 years. I mean, you look at where it was at, and now we're at how many schools and how many places are taking advantage of it. I really just see it kind of exploding, and a lot of companies are going to grow. I think our company is going to grow. Gosh, I just don't know what it's going to look like, but I know there's going to be more of it. I'll say that.
Yeah. That's
There's
great.
going to be a lot more people. We're going to have a lot more courses. We have 6 courses.
10 cards, by the way.
Sorry.
I gave you 10 cards.
Gosh. Yeah, I'm not even paying attention. So
this is how we beat you.
This is how we beat. Good job, Bubba. Mike, you just drew 10.
It's okay. It's fine. And then you reversed me. What a bunch of it. Hey, this is a good lesson on cyberbullying.
Oh.
So right now, kids, we're going to take a moment. And
Oh, man, that was good.
How we're supposed to properly treat our opponents in games. So you don't bully them online when you're having a show. That's one. But no, I mean, actually, this actually brings up a good point. One of my goals is the reason kids act the way they do online, and adults too, is because they've never been taught how to do it. There's never been an adult in the room to say you shouldn't say that or you shouldn't act like that online. So my goal, I think one of my big priorities is we can start to teach this in schools, so then the kids know how to act online. You know, the Surgeon General just yesterday said kids under 13 should not be on social media. I do not disagree with that statement. I think that's perfectly fine to say because but what we can do is we can show the kids how to do that at a young age. We can show them how to be on social media properly and how to take care of themselves and how not to engage people and, you know, make things hostile immediately. So I guess that would be my hope is that we're trying to create better digital citizens. So
I appreciate all that, man. That's great. I would be more than happy to follow along that in the next 5 years to see all that advance. Okay, Kristy, as you're trying to destroy me and figure out what color I don't have, Mike. Okay. Where do you see yourself, your world, gaming concepts, esports in the next 5 years?
So my main goal in the next 5 years is we have to get some professional development going for teachers. And this definitely comes from the world of alternative school. So there's no classes that you can take to become an alternative school educator.
Oh,
so,
really?
I mean, you can't go to college to learn how to be an alternative school educator. So it all has to come from within, you know, people that have been in it forever, like me. I mean, we're the ones that were providing that professional development for alternative school people. And I'm seeing that in esports also. You know, 80% of teachers, I've said this before, they are me. They're women. And I don't play a lot of video games.
Yeah.
And so we're really working with some colleges on professional development and what that looks like. And we're not talking about coaching, because I think that there's a good community there. Not that coaches don't need that professional development piece, but I think there's a good community of coaches, and there's not that group of teachers that are like, this is what an esports class. Nice.
We bullied
and I still won.
We bullied him into a win.
See, perseverance, kids. This is how it works.
What a great lesson, Mike. Thank you. Sorry, go finish that thought, Kristy.
So that's my goal, is I want to focus on, there's the administrator in me, because I want to as the building leaders, I want to focus on teachers and training teachers on how do you use this, and then that mental health moments piece that can be used in other classes. You know, how can esports be used in other classes also? You know, this is one of the things that NASIF does really well. They have those where you can sprinkle. They have lesson plans that you can sprinkle. And so I want to teach teachers how to do that. This isn't just about, you know, you don't necessarily have to have an esports team. You don't have to, I want to remove those barriers. You don't have to have a video gaming class to be able to put this into your school.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my focus.
Love it. Love it. Julie, thank you guys, both of you, for the outlook of the next 5 years and your goals. Julie Maverick George says, they are my heroes, you two, she's talking about. Working on elementary esports curriculum with embedded SEL lessons inspired by these two, you guys, and gaming concepts. Thank you. You are my heroes. Way to go.
She is Julie. Something else. You want to talk about somebody special. That's Julie. She's doing a lot for esports. She and this is what it takes. It takes
Yeah.
people to step up, and I tell people all the time, we're not doing this all right because it's new. And so as schools are changing, especially as we're coming out of COVID, as schools are changing and kids are changing, then she's somebody that's stepping up to the plate and doing a great job.
Mike just
As
unloaded
I'm
6
watching
on you.
myself get my butt kicked here.
Yes, I love Julie. I mean, it just again, these just another right place, right time. Just happened to meet Julie at a conference, and Bubba, you were with me. And,
Yep, that's right. Yeah, we were at the NACAD conference, which I absolutely love. One of the best conferences ever.
Yeah. She liked my rolling Darth Vader backpack, and we started a conversation. And she was sitting there,
That's
and
right.
it was like,
Yeah, we're no
yeah, you want
that.
to go to the conference? Sure, let's go. And there, off we went, and we've had a great friendship ever since. And I love her passion. She I don't remember who said that, but she is all over the place. Like, she is passionate about this for kids, and she's an amazing mentor for everybody.
Yes, she is. Oh, I'm so sorry. I won. Oh, it's 2-2. Kristy, what's the deal? You gotta win this last game. That's our last game.
It's all right.
You gotta win
I'm
this
a
last
good
game.
loser.
She doesn't play video games, you guys. She doesn't play
Bubba gave her +6 cards. I don't know why.
No, I put down 2. You put down 4 on her.
I don't think that's right.
Yeah, that's correct. I was watching. Run the tape back.
Why does Mike always get a start? That's what I want to know.
I didn't start. I didn't start that time.
No.
Uh-oh. I won't do it.
When we're talking about Julie too, somebody that one unsung group, Fresno.
100%.
Her school district
100%.
being supportive of her, and her traveling and her being an ambassador for esports. And that's something also that we have to acknowledge, is that schools are having to take a chance. Districts are having to take a chance that this is going to work and that this is the right thing for kids. And so we have at Griswold High School up in Connecticut is another one.
Yeah.
I talk about, Wichita, USD 259 here in Wichita. We absolutely could not have done what we've done without the implementation and the support, and almost using it as a test model all the time with Wichita, because they have such a diverse group of students and a diverse group of teachers that were willing to learn, and we learned right along with them. So these districts, these early adopters, they have been unbelievable. Mays, we couldn't have done it without Mays. That's our district. And they let us implement it, and they let us implement it for credit. And
all right, I won again.
So
we'll go again.
What's really cool about the Mays connection is it's really kind of coming full circle, because Chad Higgins, who was our superintendent at the time and was and super supportive of it, has now moved on, and he runs kind of service centers in Kansas now, or one of the service centers, and now he's asking, I've been up there, but he asked Kristy to be a part of a conversation with 150 school districts, about esports. So, the fact that he was willing to be a part of that, and then relies on us as a resource now to implement it in more schools, just shows that he thinks it's working as well. So,
I love that. Well, guys, as we finish up our last game here that Kristy hopefully wins and gets on the board, I want to say a lot of amazing things about you, and I will start now. You guys are some of the biggest and best leaders and mentors in the space, and I don't think I would be where I am today without you guys. And I don't think a lot of people in a lot of schools would be where they are without you guys. And I hope to continue learning and listening to you guys and promoting you guys and seeing and watching what you all do, because I'm excited for it, especially 2023. And I hope to keep helping and serving and listening. And you guys definitely, both of you, Mike, Kristy, you have been an inspiration to me and to many. So thank you for all that you do. I really appreciate you guys.
And Bubba, you are moving everyone forward too, being a voice for people and just being an all-around good person. And we appreciate you. We appreciate, overall, we have just been so accepted in the esports space. And, people just I think if we can just keep helping each other along and keep kids at the forefront, whether that's industry people with, publishers or scholastic people, or, there's a bunch of kids who love this space, who love video games, who are counting on us to get it right. And so it's going to take a lot of different people and a lot of different voices to make this happen and make this happen right. Not that there's not going to be missteps, and there have been missteps, but we can get this right. And this generation that's coming up behind us, they're just going to take it. Because they've been doing this their whole lives. Like Mike, they've been doing this their whole lives, and they are just going to, if we can just get us on the right track, they're gonna full speed ahead it.
I love it.
Yep.
Guys, thank you so much for teaching me a new game. And I think Mike had 4 wins, and I had 3. So Mike is the overall winner today. His prize today is to be able to say all his socials on the platform and where to find him first, and then Kristy can go second. That's the first.
Love it.
So
Thanks, Bubba. Yeah, just to echo what Kristy said real fast. Yeah, you've been amazing, and you are. I mean, I think a lot of people look at you as like the voice of esports. I mean, like Scholastic Esports, and I mean, there's not a place we go that everybody knows who Bubba is. So you're obviously very integral into the success of all this, so we appreciate you so much for all your support, and we learn a lot from you too. So
yes.
So anyway, my socials are just Michael Russell on LinkedIn and at Russ the Teach on Twitter. I don't do the TikToks, so sorry.
But you have a podcast, Mike, that you guys do. That's awesome.
We do. We have the Gaming Concepts podcast, which you can I think you can find us on the Apple Store and YouTube. You can look it up on our YouTube channel, Gaming Concepts. So,
very good show. All right, Kristy, you get to go second. Where can we find your socials and information about you?
I'm on Twitter at KG Custer and LinkedIn at Kristy Custer. And I would invite everyone to follow our YouTube page, Gaming Concepts YouTube. There's a lot of good information for educators on there. And we're just trying to get everybody on board, and always please feel free. It's Michael at generationesports.com, Kristy at generationesports.com. We will, if we can't answer your questions, we will get you to the right people to answer your questions. We just want to make this as welcoming to people that are trying to get involved, welcoming to schools, welcoming to educators as we can.
Thank you guys so much, and thank you to the chat. Julie for being here. We love you as well. Jeff coming in, Andrew, Kyle. Thank you guys for being here in the chat today and joining us. Dr. Kristy Custer, Dr. Michael Russell, thank you guys so much for being here today. And feel free, when I pull off, you guys can leave the control room, and I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. I'm excited to chat and do some work. But thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you. See ya.
Thanks for having us, Bubba.
Thanks,
all right,
Bubba.
guys.
Appreciate it.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much for stopping by and coming in. This was a ton of fun with some of the mentors in my life, and excited to see what happens in the future, and definitely excited to see where esports goes in the scholastic space, our scholar gamers. I love the ingenuity and the intention of Mike and Kristy, as well as the openness to connect, share, and collaborate for the ideas around. There's a lot of options, but these groups besides them also do great things, and that is very, very encouraging to hear, especially in our very small space of esports. But thank you guys for being here. Once again, check back Friday right here, back on any of the platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, or YouTube. And I'll be right here playing some Overwatch 2 with Donna Walters from Cal State Esports Collective, right back here on Wednesday afternoon. Thank you guys. See you later. And here's a commercial from somebody you might have just seen.
Hello, My name is Kristy Custer. As a public educator for the past 24 years, I have watched as interest in esports has exploded in schools across the world. Last fall, I joined the High School Esports League and helped to establish the education department. Since then, we have been working hard to integrate esports into education to create a scholastic gaming experience where students can learn, play, and compete. With our evidence-based, STEM.org-approved gaming concepts curriculum, schools can offer 4-credit classes during the school day that help improve chronic absenteeism, student engagement, and mental health.
As a senior health advisor for High School Esports League and a former ER physician, I see the incredible need for supporting mental health in students in today's schools. In fact, schools at a formidable crossroads where a pervasive and persistent decline in youth mental health now intersects with staff burnout. This has not been a sudden problem, but rather one we've seen over decades. The American Academy of Pediatrics announced in 2019 that 1 out of 3 students meets the criteria for generalized anxiety disorder before graduation. And the CDC reaffirmed that between 2009 and 2019, depression increased in adolescents by roughly 40%. The most telltale sign that grabbed all of our hearts was when the Surgeon General announced in December of 2021 that female adolescents increased their visits to the emergency departments around the nation by 51% for suicidal ideations. In the face of this, schools are desperately seeking solutions and ways to support those that struggle with mental health challenges. Now, these statistics that I mentioned are averages. We know there are some cohorts that are at higher risk, particularly those students who do not feel they have a safe place or a legitimate connection to school. That's where esports represents a tremendous opportunity. Students who are not currently involved with sports, music, arts, and traditional extracurriculars are left with minimal opportunities to make a connection. Yet many of these students find connections to their friends and other social outlets through online activity, including gaming. So, scholastic gaming represents an opportunity to leverage an area of interest into a legitimate class that meets state standards and expectations, all through an evidence-based curriculum that can simultaneously support self-esteem, self-efficacy, and life skills in many kids who desperately need it.
Hi, my name is Michael Russell. During my career as a teacher, I was fortunate enough to have the support of my administrator as I began the journey to establish the first 4-credit scholastic gaming course in the nation. At HSEL, we have the resources and data to help you speak with your administrators about the impact that scholastic gaming and esports can have for your students. We have strategies that can help you with acquiring technology and curriculum, such as ESSER funds, grant applications, and partnerships. The High School Esports League has invested significant resources in helping our education partners, and we are excited about this opportunity to help you establish scholastic gaming in your school.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise. Oh, and it's gonna
jumped into it. This corner judge is good for 1, 2, yeah. He needs more. They're doing even more here.
You gotta touch the point. Mr. College walks it in.
Toy Boy just gonna drop. Knife him. Right out in front.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, running.
Life is busy. Every day we ask questions like, what's happening today? What should I wear? How am I going to fit everything in? But then there are bigger questions like, why am I here? What's my purpose? Where am I heading? Is there more to life than this? These are some of life's big questions, but there's rarely enough time to think them through. That's why Alpha exists. Alpha is a place to explore life's big questions in a safe and open environment. It's a series of sessions where anyone can share their thoughts and opinions and ask questions without feeling judged. When you come to an Alpha, you'll notice that first, there's food. Whether it's a full meal or a light snack, this is the time to get to know each other in a casual setting. Next, you'll watch an Alpha Talk. The talks are created to engage and spark conversation. They explore big issues around faith from a Christian perspective. After the talk is a time for discussion. This is the most essential part of any Alpha. It allows everyone to share their own opinions on the ideas presented in the talks. It's a time for people with different thoughts, beliefs, and experiences to ask honest questions and have open conversation. Every week, there are guests coming for the first time to an alpha in their community. Alpha is for everyone, regardless of background or beliefs. There's no pressure, no follow-up, and it's completely free to attend. Come and explore life's big questions. Find an alpha near you today.